Tina just put into chat. Yeah, she thought she sent out your packets on Thursday. She gave me mine on Wednesday on my desk, but apparently I didn't. I found out from Lewis this weekend he was looking for his, so I just thought he just didn't get it. But so she realized this morning that your packets didn't go out. Put into chat. Yeah, she thought she sent out your packet. Oh, she just muted herself. Okay, and I just let someone in. Who did I just let in? Dustin. No, Dustin was already here.
Julianne.
Thank you. Jeff, we're ready whenever you are.
Okay. We'll call the meeting to order at 6:01 p.m. So we'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda. It was in your packet.
Rutland County makes a motion.
Lamoille will second.
Thank you, Dustin. Any changes or additions to the agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Thank you. Approval of the secretary's report. That was also in your packet. We'll entertain a motion.
Addison County.
Thank you, Louis.
Chittenden would second.
Thank you, Pat. Any additions, corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Treasurer's report, Patty.
Okay. Excuse me, I sent this out today. Just keep in mind, we have 2 more months of activity that will take place for our fiscal year. And the data in the report that I did send out reflects activity through the month of July. So membership, again, through July, we had $120 in income. For July, we're at 83% of budget expectation, and that includes the $10. And that 120 was from paid volunteer TMAs. We are 77% year over year if we took the $10 out, which is about 10% less than we were last time this year. So it's 88% versus 77. Income in general, we had about 26,000 in income activity for the month of July. And that represents about 5,500 in interest and dividends, 12K in contracted services from the SSTP for admin, and about 6,400 in media sales. We are 83% of our budget expectations without the $10 compared to 88% last year. And we're about 80% year over year comparison if you take the $10 out, or about 10%. And expenses, we had about 61K in monthly expenses, of which 45K were in salaries and benefits, 5K in operating and office area. That was taxes and telephone kind of stuff, 5K in professional, which was like audit and technical. And we had some internet website stuff there. So we're at 83% of our fiscal year, and about 64% of our expense budget's been utilized. General funds about 74%, and trails funds about 56%. There was no activity with payments for any projects, whether they were regular in-season projects or flood-related projects. But I did include that for the month of July, but I did include them, the data there, so you had the final numbers and where we stand as far as balances are concerned. And that's what I have, Jeff.
Thank you, Patty.
You're welcome.
Any questions for Patty? I will entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Windsor County make a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
Thank you, Doug. And a second, please.
Washington.
Thank you, Jeff. I heard Washington. Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Perfect. Thank you, Patty.
Thank you.
No tabled items, no old business. New business, Cindy. Your elected officials questions.
I muted myself. Yeah, so I sent out in the packet, there's 4 sample questions for elected officials, for members if they want to ask questions of their local officials. And so that's in your packet. I did say on there that, oh, hang on, I'm letting Greg Rouleau in. I did say on there that we would be sending them to the governor, the people that are running for governor, people running for lieutenant governor, but we're really not allowed to do that because we're a 501c3. You as individuals can ask your local representatives, even clubs can that are 501c7s. But if you're a C3 as a club, you can't say, you know, let's just pull out a name. I don't know if they're a C3 or not. You know, the Berrytown Thunder Chickens formally request you answer these questions. But as individuals, you can ask questions, and I think it's really important to do. They are talking about raising property taxes, possibly another 14% next year. And they're putting together a study committee and again to do that. So there's a lot of important questions to be asked. And you know, these property taxes, as you know, as just property owners, and then you get the private property owners that own large tracts of land and farm and stuff like that. It's not fun right now. So I will be just finalizing that and emailing it to you Wednesday. Tomorrow, I'm off. Matt and I are going up to Burke to meet with the governor and his cabinet regarding all the flooding and trails in the state, with a couple other trail organizations, to talk about flood recovery and the outdoor recreation and how it's affecting outdoor recreation. And that's all I have on that.
Thank you, Cindy. Any questions for Cindy on that? Okay. Let's see. Clubs missing extended deadlines. Cindy.
Yeah, so okay, so what we're talking about is the financial analysis that was due back in the spring, and we had clubs that didn't do it on time, and there were quite a few. So you guys voted to give them an extended deadline to get that financial analysis in, and it ended up that 7 clubs still didn't, and for a variety of reasons. And so they've gone through the process, all but one club. There were 2 clubs up until today, but another club did get in touch with me. And so they're here right now to address you. In your packets are their email explanations to me. And did everybody get a chance to go through those, or do you need me to read them club by club?
Cindy,
So
how many clubs are are on here tonight with us?
6 out of the 7, Jeff.
It would take quite a bit of time to read them. I did go over a couple of them, just speed readings, but I suppose if we have any questions and they sound like they're should be answered, please understand that we haven't gotten our packets until today. So so there might be some questions that might already be in the information.
Right. So I'm
Cindy,
sorry.
I just had a comment. This is Doug Jacobs. After reading all those just a little while ago, it seemed like the majority of them, maybe not every single one, but the majority of them, it seemed like it was mostly new officers and new people. That's kind of what it
Yes.
trended. It seemed like.
I agree, Doug. These folks weren't ignoring it because they were ignoring it face value. It was a lot of club turnover, club officer turnover, illnesses, death in the family. I mean, they were, very, very valid. You're the one who's going to say that it's valid, but for me, reading them, and talking to people, anyway, so what I did was included in your packet, there's also a description of what you can decide on. So you can decide to forgive everybody. You can decide to forgive the people that are here and put them back in good standing. You can decide that they're still not in good standing, but you're going to give them money. Like there's nothing that says that being out of good standing means that all their rights and everything are taken away. That the way the bylaws read, which is included in your packet, the board decides what that's going to mean. And if you want me to read that to you, I can. Okay, why don't I just go ahead and do it? So some people are shaking their head yes, some people are no. So it says, if a club has their good standing designation revoked, VAST reserves the right to take the following actions: withhold all funds due to the club from TMA sales, withhold all grooming contract funds, including startup payments, withhold all equipment grant funds, withhold all construction grant funds. All decisions to withhold funds or contracts must be approved by a 2/3 majority vote of the board of directors. So you can choose any of those penalties. You can, you can talk about what you, but that's the policy in the bylaws.
How many out of these clubs have grooming contracts with us?
They all do. They're not social clubs. They all do, but they're small. These are,
I mean by that is some of them have contractors, so we don't,
well, they don't necessarily have contractors, but they have grooming equipment.
What I'm saying is they have a grooming contract with the club and not a contractor. That's
Yeah, I don't believe any of them have separate contractors. I think they all have volunteers.
And are any of them, so all 7 of these, 6 of them on board here tonight haven't turned in anything to us at this time?
No, because they missed the second deadline and that form was shut off after the second deadline. So they haven't been able to.
Right.
I think,
Was it a lack of, we didn't have the correct email at the time, Cindy? Is that what's happening?
no, we had the correct, we had email addresses for the clubs. We had whatever their officers had submitted, but their club officers have changed. And so if we don't have updated club officers, that's not in all the cases, Jeff. Some cases, they were getting the emails. They just hadn't checked them in a while. They didn't know they were supposed to do this. The person that left who was doing the job before didn't inform them. It's all in those emails that they sent. And like I said, I'm happy to go through club by club if you want. They're not terribly long emails, but they're in the executive director's report on I think they start on page 3 and 4, because page 2 is the agenda for the board meeting.
I've got them up.
I don't know that we're looking to extend once again, Carol, because the reports to the state have to be in at a certain time. And that's already been done. We've already reported out to the state. So it's not that as much as they just missed the second deadline that you guys set. So, which means that they had to be warned that they were no longer a club in good standing, which I did. And where they weren't getting the emails, their directors were reaching out to them. So like Mike Stewart reached out to his clubs, Michael Garber reached out to his clubs and were in touch with me.
Why don't you read them, Cindy, and then we can decide on a club by club basis.
All right. Okay, so the Jacksonville Easy Riders, on behalf of the Easy Riders, Jacksonville Snowmobile Club, please accept my most sincere apology for missing these deadlines. We voted in a new group of officers at our May club meeting, and unfortunately, we did not fully review and reassign all tasks related to club activities, including these. We have met and not have this oversight remedied, and now have this oversight remedied, I think they meant to say. Here are our officers. And so they listed the officers. This slate of officers was unanimously accepted at our meeting on May 7th. Sincerely. I'm sorry. Okay.
Background noise.
Okay. And so Bruce is here. Bruce, and I don't know if Dave Twitchell's here, but Bruce Binks is here. He's the vice president. Oh, yeah, there's Bruce up in the right corner. You're on mute though, but if anybody has questions for Bruce, that was basically the Jacksonville Easy Riders. Do you want me to just keep going? Or do you have questions for Bruce?
You want to act on these one at a time?
I don't know.
think-
Go
I
ahead.
think it would help us if we hear them all that way. If we are talking about, I mean, sounds like we are talking about one subject here, then I think maybe it could quicken things up tonight.
Yeah. Okay. The Guilford Pit Stoppers. This is Christina, and I'm the treasurer secretary of the Guilford Pit Stoppers and was newly appointed in January. I sincerely apologize for missing information. Being newly appointed, I was given some, but not all information as to what was required and when. I do remember filling out this information. However, I'm not sure when or whom it was sent. I was injured at work in January after becoming treasurer and then became severely depressed, which a little later turned into more severe health problems. I do truly apologize for allowing the club to fall behind while I was dealing with my health issues. I am in a much better place now and would like a second chance to help make this club a success. Promise to work hard to make sure that we will have a great 24-25 season. And I also spoke with Christine on the phone. Had a nice conversation with her. The next club is the Weybridge Trailblazers. Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry that Weybridge Trailblazers did not get the financial analysis in by the date we were supposed to. I understand that there are 3 of us in this club that could do this, but from last fall to now has been crazy. I personally had to have surgery on my left knee from a work injury at a previous employer, and then had to deal with the workers' compensation stuff that came with it. After my surgery, I became very ill and even had a pulmonary embolism. This spring, once my health was better, I was busy with starting my own business, helping my wife start up her childcare, and 2 of my 3 kids had sports 4 to sometimes 6 days a week. So as far as it goes for me, I was very busy and just did not have the time, and it didn't come to mind getting it done. My father, Mike, doesn't do things on the computer and is old-fashioned and does things the paper route, so he had no idea how to do anything online. My mother is also part of the club, and due to my schedule, I never had the time to show her how to get on and do this. Again, I'm sorry, it never got done, and this coming season will be different because I will be able to take more personal time. Let me know what I need to do to get in better standing with FAST. Thank you, Austin. And Austin's here tonight too. Ferrisburg Sledheads, we are new as a functioning club this year with officers. When we updated our list of officers on the VAST website, we had to create an actual club email. Club email and password was shared with the officers, but I believe they forgot to add to their own phones or computers. None of us checked our email regularly after the season. I myself, vice president, did not know that I had set notifications on my phone to be notified of these emails. I have since gotten all of the officers to add this club email to their computers and phones so that I may not be the only one getting email notifications, and we can all check in with each other better. Since I have made this change, I have been able to get right on top of emails. I'm sorry we missed the time frame for the grooming analysis. Since this was my first year as vice president, I was not aware that these things were happening just after the season ended. I will definitely be on top of it moving forward, as will the rest of our officers. We have also since successfully completed the chainsaw course as well with the extension to do so. Thank you for that too. Can you please add us to the next board meeting so that we may be added back into the group and be in compliance once again? Thank you, Bethany Howard. And then there's 2 more. These are a little briefer. East, also another Rutland. This is Rutland County. Good afternoon. By the way, the one I just read is Addison County. Good afternoon, Cindy, reaching out to you about the East Club. We are going through a hard time right now. It was my father and I trying to keep up with all the paperwork and everything else for the club. My father is battling some really hard health issues this year, and it's been hard on us. What do I need to do? I'll try my best to get the club back in good standings, Gavin. And then I just got this one in an email, and find it here. Okay, so this is from Andrew from Best. Hello, Cindy. This is Andrew from Best. This is an email explaining why we missed the deadline for the end of the year grooming contract. Honestly, the guy that used to take care of this stuff for the club, who was also my father, passed away last year, and everything was thrown into my lap, and it was overlooked mainly because we did 0 miles of grooming this past season, as it was a terrible snow load for our area when we got the snow. it was gone within a day or so. I'll be on tonight's Zoom meeting also to explain. Thank you, Andrew. That's it. That's 6 out of the 7.
Was Guilford on tonight?
I read Guilford.
Are they have a representation here tonight on?
Guilford, are you here? Guilford would be, oh no, I'm sorry. No, Christina is not here tonight. She and her husband had to bring their son to a school practice or something. They had a school meeting last minute. So she was pretty distraught, but she emailed me this afternoon and told me that she wouldn't be able to be here. So I told her I would represent, I would read her explanation.
My only concerns are, I mean, I understand, but the club must have other people that can stand in, but my concerns, I guess, since we started this, it seems to be the list is getting a little larger, and this year we ran it a second time, opened up the session a second time, and then that didn't really help. Well, helped us a little bit, but not a lot. And so that's my concern, is that, we keep showing a good grace on this, and we understand we don't want to lose clubs. But at the same note, we have to somehow make them understand that this is very serious, because it holds us up as far as getting our stuff done towards, our fiscal year. And there's a reason why we asking for this stuff. It's not just because we want to keep it in the file cabinet. So to me, everybody wants to have a great, gracious heart here and say, well, you're all excused. But I guess the question is, how do we stop this from getting to be a longer list? And I know that everybody's got good, and I don't want to use the word excuses because some of them sound very serious, but I guess the question has to be, how do we put this to bed where it's not getting larger every.
Thanks, Jeff. Roger.
Cindy, so you're, just for clarification, you sent out the letters of not being in good standing, and then you got these replies, and every club has replied back that you send letters to?
No, there's one club that did not respond.
But the clubs that sent the letters are on the meeting tonight, or have a reason not to be, I guess?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can tell you it's very cyclical. I mean, we've been seeing this long enough now. What happens is that this happens to clubs, and then they're very good with it, moving forward. And because they remember these meetings and not wanting to have to come to them. I mean, everybody, it's too bad we had to air everybody's reasons on the meeting tonight, but it sounds like everybody's got legitimate reasons. And we don't owe them. None of these clubs are going to be getting paid out anything. If they're willing to send us the information we need, I think we should just move forward. And once we get their grooming analysis, if we haven't already, then I would say they just get placed back in good standing with no further penalty. I mean, following up with Bruce's comment, like I agree that the directors need to have very good communication with their clubs, but sometimes, the directors get busy during the spring, and ultimately, clubs change hands, and we can't control and make sure that everybody's getting the logins to the emails. I mean, it's not realistic. So I don't see why we can't give grace to these clubs, especially since they're doing their due diligence and coming to the meeting, and some of them are being very forthcoming about their reasons, which I don't even know if I would have been that way. So that's my thoughts on that. And I'm happy to make a motion at some point, if, unless other people have other comments.
Thank you, Roger.
I agree.
Mike Stewart, you
Addison?
still,
Addison
You had
has
your
her
hand-
hand up.
Yeah, I had my hand up, and Roger said exactly what I was going to say.
okay,
These are small clubs, low snow areas with some of them. I want to thank them all for participating tonight, the ones that could. And I think we should show some graces. And me, as Rutland County Director, I will try my best, as I always do, to make sure that these reports are very, very important.
thank you, Mike. Lewis,
Yes, I echo the same as Roger too. They're all here. They made the effort. and they all had good excuses. And everyone's got to remember also, most of these clubs are real small clubs with only a few people doing everything, and they're all volunteers. So some of the comments are a little hard ass as far as I'm concerned tonight, but I make a motion that we accept their excuses and make them in good standings again.
I'll second that. Orleans.
Okay.
Mark's got his hand up.
Go ahead, Mark.
Besides echoing what Roger and Lewis said, I also wanted to point out that we haven't had any repeat clubs really going through this. So the process seems to be working in terms of our clubs that are involved, helping them to stay on the straight and narrow, because I know that my club had to go through this and they didn't want to repeat it again. And like Roger said, I don't know if I would have been as forthcoming as some of these guys were. And I appreciate them doing it, but it also seems to be a deterrent for other clubs. But when there is turnover, there's not much we can do. So.
Okay. Anything new to add comment wise?
Call the
Michael
motion.
Garber. Oh, yeah, you've got a motion open too, but Garber's got his hand up.
Are we going to talk about the 7th club? Do they want to be a club, or are we just going to ignore that and add them into the 6 other clubs that have written letters?
Good question.
Well, it's a good question. I
think
don't
the
know.
motion said the clubs that were here, the clubs that came before the board.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well.
Yeah. You can clarify, Lewis, if it wasn't.
Not
No,
to put you on the spot, Michael Garber, but that last club is in your county.
I keep the motion the same, just for the 6 clubs that came tonight. Deal with the other club in another way at another time.
Yep.
I agree with that.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen.
Ladies, did you get that motion? Do you need it repeated? And I just want to also add a note too, while they're looking at that motion. I know that Michael Garber did reach out to his clubs, so. Tina and Mandy, Tina, are you all set with that motion? Repeat one more time. All right.
Which club wasn't here?
West River Snowgoers. So who made the motion?
Lewis.
Lewis. And Roger second. To excuse the 6 out of 7 clubs, or the clubs that responded and came before you? Somebody?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Thank you. Okay. Sorry, I was taking notes on something else. I usually write down motions, but the 6 out of 7 clubs that missed both financial analysis deadlines and put them back into good standing.
Mandy's got it on there.
She does.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, all good on that.
So what are we going to do with the 7th club? What would you like me to do?
My suggestion would be, if I can speak, Jeff,
Sure, go ahead.
My suggestion would be, obviously they're still not in good standing. So the next time we need to interact with them, I don't know if that would be grooming contracts, maybe. I don't know. Just remind them of that, and they don't qualify for any grooming funding until they become in good standing, and then at that point they can reach out to the board, and we can go from there.
Okay.
What club is it?
West River Snow Goers.
Yeah, I don't
believe
think I don't. What's that?
I don't believe they groomed at all last year anyway.
I think that's part of the misunderstanding. Even though these clubs had hardships and turnover, some of them they didn't get the message that even if they didn't groom, they still need to fill out this report.
I don't think there's any sort of necessarily punitive action that we need to take or we should take at this point. I think it's just more of hey, before you can move on and receive anything from us, we need this, 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 and this, or at least some sort of a legitimate excuse. And I know that makes Matt's job tough, and we are constantly dealing with excuses, and but we are volunteers, and a lot of this stuff comes back to most of us spend money to do this quote job than we actually earn from it. So yeah, I would just say hold them on not good standing status, and then perhaps maybe the decision of the board tonight should be sent out to them, and just a reminder that they're not in good standing, and then see what happens from there.
Okay, sounds great.
Thank you, Roger. Mike Stewart.
Yeah, just a quick question, guys. So do you still want these clubs to submit their financial analysis?
We don't need the information. The state reports have already been done, and the form has been closed for this year.
Okay.
So it would just be an exercise of one more thing for them to do or practice for next year.
Maybe they need to practice.
It's up to you guys.
I'll tell my guys to see if they can do them.
Well, we would have to know, because we have to open the forms back up, and that's another, that's just one more thing to do,
Okay.
for everybody. So not just for the clubs.
All right.
What is the actual impact of not having them? To ask.
My two clubs did not groom.
It's just part of the requirement that we have for state funds to have these reports done. So even if they don't groom, getting those reports. So if they're not grooming, then, they're not grooming. But it's because, Mike, the money is used, our grooming money is used as a match to pull in all the federal money the state gets for motorized recreation. So not only for us, but for ATVs, snowmobiles, and anything the Department of Forest Parks and Recreation uses to improve their trails on their land for motorized recreation. They use our grooming to pull that down as a match. So that's why we have to have accurate information. And that's why we have to have it so soon after the season ends, because we got to get that information to the state.
So it impacts federal funding.
Yeah, it impacts federal funding. Yeah.
I understand.
Jacobs.
It's a big number.
Yes, Ivor or Michael Garber, is the West River Snow Growers is a club in Townsend, right?
Yes. Correct.
Who's the president of that? Do you know? Does anyone even know?
Kirk Betty.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks.
They are pretty much landlocked from the system, and they lost a big chunk of their trail system this year due to a class 4 road converting to class 3 and now getting plowed. And that trail leads to the gas station that's in town.
By Urban Market?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
The Ellen Ware Road is
yeah.
Getting plowed now.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yep.
Roger.
I would like to see the financial analysis sent in, even if it's the old version. I mean, I don't want to speak for Matt, but this stuff is important for how we make decisions in the future, and it goes above and beyond what the state needs for reports. I think that as an organization, we need to know, especially, we're going to have the hard conversations about these smaller clubs and what their overhead costs are and how much they really need from VAS. So I get that they didn't groom, but they still have overhead costs, and that stuff is important for us to know about. Are we giving these subsidies to clubs that have little to no overhead costs and they're just banking money year after year after year? And can we make changes for that? And that conversation is coming down the road, as much as many people don't want to have it. So we need to have the data, and I think that should be part of it. Like, you have potentially a new person that's involved with the club, just do your best to fill it out. It's not going to be perfect, but I mean, really, I think it's Matt's decision on what he needs, but I think it's important data for us to have.
Well, we can certainly do that. I would like to know from the clubs how long that they would need. Do they need a week? 7 days? We can send you the link and then it's the instructions.
Would it be possible, Cindy, to just send them like a fillable PDF versus opening up the whole?
No, because the way we built our systems, it goes all into a database.
It dumps in there, okay.
So
Yep.
it would have to be inputted some way, and it's cleaner
Okay.
just to have them input their own information. But it should be, if they didn't groom at all, it should be very simple. It's not going to take them. It's not like filling out your taxes. It shouldn't.
They still have expenses, even though they didn't get any money from grooming, they still had to pay something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, we can do that. I just need to know, like, you guys want to do 7 days, 14 days?
A week is good for best.
Okay. Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah,
Bruce, what do you think?
Cindy, I filled it out, so I'm curious about that. I filled it out online and sent it in. So I'm
Okay,
curious.
see-
It never got in. Didn't never make it.
Yeah, we can actually tell on the back end when anybody logs in, even if they only type in like 2 letters and then back out, we can, we can see that. So I don't know what happened. Maybe you lost your internet. I don't know. I just know that it didn't come through.
Okay, I mean, I have a copy of it, so I have no problem filling it out again.
Okay,
It's not
that
a
would be
problem.
great.
Not a problem at
All
all.
right, Bruce, appreciate it. And
No
we
problem.
will, we can certainly, like I said, make it a link and send you the instructions and, with the date, the drop dead deadline that it's got to be done this time. And I think it'll be probably good practice too for next spring for the clubs that have new officers and stuff.
Jeff Halpin, you have your hand up.
Oh, Waverage Trailblazers, I can have it in by the end of the week too.
Roger said exactly, I think, what I was going to say. Sorry about that. I agree totally that they should still have to get it in. I think it's valuable information, and we've asked them to get it in. It can't be used for the whole purpose, but it can be used for a purpose in the future. I also think we're setting a little bit of a precedent, which I'm fine. I mean, I just don't want to sound like a hard ass, but we are all volunteers and they are all volunteers, but we are setting that precedent. So it's okay to excuse people, but I think we're heading down that road where we excuse, but if it's a 2-time offender or a 3-time offender, where do we draw that line when this starts happening? And we haven't had a 2-time offender yet. So that's really, I guess the system is working. So
yeah, that tends to happen. Another thing too, everybody remind your clubs, don't just send me or any of us a list of your officers. You need to go on the VAST website on the forms page, and there's a link to club officer updates and county officer updates, and then they automatically upload to our database. So, that's important when you have new little clubs or of clubs in your area that are having turnover, to make sure that they know how to find all those forms too, because that's when they'll also find, grooming, all kinds of helpful things and sometimes required things.
Dustin, you all good? You had your hand up earlier?
I had my hand up, but Roger hit it on the head. It was just, grooming or not, you still have insurance, you still have maintenance, you still have fuel. That was it.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Moving on to the administrator's report. Oh,
Jeff, I think
somebody-
you need a motion on that last club and what we're going to do with it.
Yep. Okay. That works. Thank you, Pat. Anybody care to make a motion?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay.
Sorry. I'll make a motion that we leave that the last club, whatever the club name is again, I don't remember, remains out of good standing or whatever the term would be, and that we send them notification of the board decision and their status. Since we're making this official, we probably should let them know, and they'll have to contact the Bastow. That doesn't need to be part of the motion. Just keep them out of good standing and send them a notification.
Yep, got it.
Sorry.
And
Moyle will second that.
thank you.
Thank you, Dustin. I will.
Does local clubs like does Weybridge Trailblazers have to stay on anymore, or
No, all you're going to need to
Nope.
do is I will be sending you out a notification that just says that, okay, here's the link to the financial analysis. Here's the time limit to get it done now, get it done. And then once you do that and we receive those, then you're back in good standing.
thank you everybody once again. I would greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Austin.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion to leave the 7th club not in good standing, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Thank you. Motion passes. On to the administrative reports. Any questions for Cindy or Matt on their reports, or Mandy?
I'll just say that for the annual meeting, some of us will be down there Friday afternoon, setting up, staying down there, and then being at the meeting on Saturday in the morning, all day. And Joan Schreiner has offered her services again to help us with registration. Thank you, Joan. And the safety ambassadors, we've got some that are going to help out Friday afternoon and some that'll be there Saturday or both days. And they're just going to be generally helping the county and the club out, if they need help with parking or moving people in to be vendors or whatever's needed. Empty garbage cans, whatever's needed. We will have a cooler with bottles of cold water behind the head table, that anyone can come and get. We'll get a few cases of water because it was really hot last year, and remember that. And so depending on the weather, we might have that. But other than that, we're ready. There is the agenda. There is a Trails Committee meeting now, the same day as annual meeting. So that's going to start at 9:15 and then at 10:15. There's actually an updated agenda. It's on the back side of your board agenda tonight. And there's also an addition of a volunteer strong photo that'll be at 11:45. Location to be determined, but we will make sure to rally everybody. We just want to get down there and get a visual of where we want this photo to be before we tell you that we're going to be at a certain point. And otherwise, no, I don't have anything else unless anybody has questions about my report, or if they didn't hear me earlier, if they weren't on. Matt and I will be reporting back to you guys after we get back from meeting with the governor and his cabinet tomorrow to talk about floods and outdoor recreation.
What time do you need? I'm going to go Friday to help. What time do you want me there?
We're probably going to be there around 1. We're going to do it in the afternoon.
Ivor, do you need anything earlier?
No, if you come at 1 Friday, that'll be great.
Okay, if something comes up and if you need help earlier, just email me or call me.
Okay, thank you.
Guess we'll move into committee reports. Mark? American Outdoor Recreation, whatever that thing's called, Risk Retention Group.
You're on mute.
We met on July 29th. We elected Mike Kohler as director to serve out the remainder of Pat's term. Dustin also joined us for the meeting to get an idea of what it's about, and he has shown interest in being on the board as well. We scheduled our annual meeting for Thursday, October 10th at 6 p.m. And then we scheduled the rest of our quarterly meetings for the next year. January 9th, 2025, April 10th, 2025, and July 10th, 2025. At the annual meeting, we'll be going, we also reviewed unofficially, because we didn't have the actual auditor on hand, because that happens at the annual meeting. We reviewed the report done by the auditor. So that's it for us.
Great. Thank you, Mark. Northeast Chapter USA, Pat, anything?
No, you're on mute, Pat.
You're on
See
mute,
your lips
Pat.
moving.
That's just me. USA did meet last month and discussed the federal RTP program and some of the changes that might be coming down the line. Also, some states are having issues with the way that their state agencies are dispersing the funds. So Alaska in particular is having some serious issues. So we're all waiting to find out what we can do to kind of bump that along when the program comes back alive. Of course, with the election coming up down in DC, there's nothing going on down there right now. And that's about it.
Thank you, Pat. Snow Trails Conservancy, Jim?
Nothing new, nothing going on right now.
Thank you. Law enforcement, Cindy?
Well, we haven't met yet.
Okay. Awards and nominating, Patty?
Okay, just quick, all award related tasks for the annual meeting have been completed, so we're good to go. Cindy did cover that the volunteer group photo will be at 11:45. It's in the agenda, so please let your delegates that are attending know. We're going to try to, I think the most time is just getting people together. The actual photo will probably be very quick. And let's see, and Cindy, you're gonna have some signage to wherever that location will be when we get there, so that's much appreciated. And that's what I have.
Are you going to need me to pick awards up for you, Patty?
No, everything's done. Ruth got them this year. Thank you, though.
Thank you.
So that worked out well. Thank you.
Oh, let's see. Bylaws and policy, Mark.
Nothing new to report.
Thank you. Annual meeting, I think we pretty much covered that. Anything to add, Ivor?
No, we got a lot of vendors coming, a couple of equipment dealers. Gonna go over the food, pulled pork sandwiches, chicken, baked beans, salad, chips. Lee's bringing the chips for us. Macaroni and cheese with Grafton cheese. There'll be a breakfast bar. There'll be drinks all day for water, sodas, whatever anyone wants in addition to the waters that Cindy's bringing. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Sounds
Jeff,
like a hell of a party.
Jeff, can I just ask him a question? The food, you have to buy the tickets there. Is that how it's going to be set up? Okay.
Correct. Yep.
Thank you.
Are you doing an auction?
No, we haven't talked about that.
All right.
You can if you want to auction something off.
No, I know there have been years when the county has kind of sponsored a silent auction to raise money for their clubs or to help offset the cost or whatever. And if you were doing one, I was going to bring an item.
No, but thank you.
No, but thank you anyway.
I know that some of the clubs that if you've got clubs that are doing any vending spots, sometimes they'll be selling raffle tickets too and stuff there.
Yeah.
So bring your checkbooks, everybody.
Executive committee didn't meet. Personnel, Julianne?
We did meet and we are just putting together our documentation to present to the bylaws committee so it can go to the board on a couple of the process for the ED evaluation and some personnel, staffing, insurance updates for future employees.
Thank you. Financial, Patty, anything to add?
Just quick that I have a meeting scheduled for Wednesday, the 28th. You should have a meeting maker on that. It's Cindy and Sheila. So we're meeting this week.
Okay, thank you.
Just to go over stuff for it basically before the annual meeting.
Mark, long range planning.
Nothing to report right now.
Okay. Resource committees idle. Trails. Anything new out of the Trails Committee meeting?
John's here. Matt's
Can you
here.
hear?
Oh,
Yeah, we can hear you, John.
he must be on my other screen. There he is.
I don't have internet at my house, so I'm on my phone, so it's kind of hard to see everything here. But yeah, we had a lengthy discussion on most of it was storm damage, and we're meeting and hopefully have more information on all the clubs' assessments of their trails when we meet the day of the annual meeting that morning. But we also talked about having the maintenance grooming equipment files. Everybody that wants to apply for a grant has to have their maintenance accountability there. Trying to read all this on my phone here as we go. Most of it was on flood damage though, and we got a lot of flood damage throughout the state, and Matt's been really good about getting a list together, and we're trying to get a map together so we can see what trails we can, there's no sense in doing work on some trails that are going to go nowhere. So we're trying to get that all on a map, or the vast map, so that we can overlook it and see what we can what we need to do. But we'll know a lot more after the 7th meeting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you,
we
John.
talked about creating a map that doesn't just show this year's floods, but last year's floods. And if there was any overlapping, even though we know that for the most part, it happened in separate areas, the hardest hit, but there was still some overlapping. And then maybe what was the cause beside, water, obviously, plug culverts, and could we have done something different? So we've talked about doing that too with the map.
Right.
And you should have the minutes for that Trails Committee meeting is in this packet too. You got Doug
Thank you,
Jacobs
John.
with his hand up, Jeff.
Go ahead, Doug.
I just had a question. I'm reading in the packet there. We had that whole spreadsheet there of all the clubs with it was like $429,618 of flood damage. What is it? Are they all in various stages of the process, or is that all already accounted for in our previous storm damage reports that we've been getting? Like when Patty was talking last month about how much money of the 750 has been spent and all that. Is all these trails in something like that, or are some of these additional?
These are additional. These are additional. Yeah, they're not. Yeah. I mean, there might be some that are in there, but the real, I don't think so. I mean, you should ask Matt and Andy. They're the ones who tell you, but I don't think so. I think it's all additional.
There's still some clubs that haven't even reported damage yet.
Right.
That's correct. This is all new damage. The 750,000 is spent or allocated to be spent. So this is all new damage that has not been accounted for yet. And like John said, there's still a lot to come. I bet you there's that much again that's coming, probably, would be my guess.
And my reports just say what's been paid. So
Yes.
my reports only reflect what's been paid out to clubs.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that there's
I mean, I know there's a couple, we're very lucky up in the Essex County that the DC line, which is one of the major trails, 102 down through there, the DC line is coming through and doing a lot of repairs. And if they hadn't, that would have been a major cost to us to get that back. But Canaan Club has had a hard time. Brighton, I think, has submitted everything. And then we've got, Caledonia, Orleans, all those counties with so much damage. I'm not sure how much has all been reported. It's going to be a lot.
Trip this winter may get canceled.
Yeah, and some of them are only getting out there now because it's been so wet. They haven't been able to. They just keep getting slammed with rain again over and over.
Right.
So the
we've
summer's not over yet.
Yeah, so I've just like quoted the state so far anywhere from 500,000 to $1 million. But saying that could be more. It's hard because clubs are still out there. So if we're already talking about 400 and something thousand, we're ticking right up to that $500,000 mark.
Yeah.
Thank you. Safety, Stan.
Yeah, so we met this month, and that initiative to deal with the safety course online, we reviewed it further. The committee members were asked to get any input that they would like to see changed on the Vermont portion, being that that's the only portion that we have control over, to Jacob from the state police. He's the one that has communication with that third party administrator for the class. And I sent him almost 3 pages worth of comments. And I don't know who else has reached out to him yet. The deadline was last Friday. And he was going to initiate those changes with the provider. And they address things like the new exhaust laws, updating numbers on membership numbers and those types of things. So there were quite a few items. One issue was the body of the course really focuses a lot on hand signals, not just the countdown, but the using a stop signal, using a right turn, left turn signal, that type of thing. We added to the Vermont portion our hands-on for safety initiative. And so there's going to be some conflict there. And the other one was that the class only takes about 2.5 hours to complete online, and they don't let you accelerate through anything. If you do everything, it's 2.5 hours to 3, depending how quickly you can do the quizzes. But one of the first lines in our section says that the class to be legal in Vermont has to be 6 hours long. So there's a conflict there. So we're addressing that as well. So that's on the table. And the other one is this app that Roger brought to us called What 3 Words, a great app for search and rescue to use. Somebody gets lost or hurt and they need to be found in the woods. Really simple app to use. And I wrote a brief article and I sent it to Beth. It's going to go in the magazine so we can share that with our members. And then we're going to do some e-news blurbs on it too, just to educate our members. And that's it.
Great. Thank you, Stan. Let's see, Governor's Council. Pat.
Governor's Council did not meet. The first meeting will be the first Wednesday in September.
Thank you. Any questions for any of the committees? Anything else that anyone would like to bring to the board this evening?
I have 2 quick things. First
Okay.
off, on your agenda, I've given you the dates for all the board meetings for the next year. So you can update your calendars. And then for the December one, on December 16th, holiday dinner, I wrote at the VAST office, but I think I'm going to try to hold it at VASA. since that location worked out so well for us for the leadership retreat, you know, size wise and all that. And I'm sure they wouldn't mind because they said we could use their space anytime we wanted. And then the other thing is Jeff, thank you very much. He's our hero. He got a Nitro trailer donated to us, snowmobile trailer, to give away for early birds. So I've made up a banner today that talks about early birds, and these are only early birds that are being sold. So it's not volunteer TMAs, it's not club buying volunteer TMAs, it's early birds or family TMAs. For every TMA that's sold, that TMA will go into a drawing, and there'll be one winner of the trailer. And then we're getting some gift certificates from some businesses. And then we're also going to have some vast swag. And so this will be on a banner at annual meeting, just announcing this is going to be starting on October 1st and ending on midnight on December 15th to try to help boost early bird sales. And anyway, so that's a big deal, that trailer. Nicely done. Very thankful.
Thank you. Yes.
May
So
I ask,
partnership-
may we ask who donated it just so we can thank them?
Yeah.
Or?
It's a partnership between Perfection Trailer Sales here in Richmond and Nitro Trailers themselves.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm out there a lot, so I'll make sure we pass it along.
Cindy, that May meeting, do you realize that's Memorial Day weekend?
No, is it?
I think so.
All right, I'll take a look at that.
Okay.
No, I think I just pulled that date out because the board we were talking about doing the retreat in May. And so, yeah, I'll look at that one and adjust it. So make a note. Thank you, Patty.
Yep.
I did see
Anything else for
Waterbury,
this evening?
Cindy, and he was sad that it didn't work out this year. But he did say it would be available next year. And I told him I thought we were going to do it a little earlier. But again, I heard it was, obviously Ruth and I couldn't make it, but I heard it was kind of hot in the facility for VASA.
Well, it was. So it would be great to have it, Jeff, at the Waterbury Fire Department, because that is a much bigger space. It is air conditioned, like you just pointed out. Plus, it has a big kitchen. And it's kind of a pain because we had to do like sandwiches and stuff. And yes, Michael, no more ciabatta rolls for sandwiches. They were a little tough to eat, ciabatta rolls from Costco. But we had planned to like have like salads and buy some like, you know, make some lasagnas and stuff like that. And but we had to change plans. But
he
anyway,
said just reach out whenever.
Okay. That's great. Okay, we'll do that.
Hey, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Windsor County make a
Addison
motion to adjourn the
County
meeting?
makes the motion.
I heard Windsor and Addison, and we will take Windsor as the first and Addison as the second.
At 7:03. Okay.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. See you in a couple of weeks.
Bye. Thanks, everybody. Yeah. See you in a couple